Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? What's up? What's up? Welcome to this fine Friday edition. What's up, bull? Welcome to this fine Friday edition of BS with Hannas. That's me. Call myself Nicky B. Hannas. Find me here. It's my little YouTube, little morning YouTube talk show a couple times a week. Run it live. Talk about some shit. The basic premise of this show is I like to wake up and I take a nice walk. I walk and I ponder. I read some good stuff. I'll get on here and talk to the people. Talk about what's on my mind, what I'm thinking about. Good, bad, whatever. No script. Just a few notes. Sometimes a few notes. And when I'm done here, I'm going to go to the gym and work out and then go to work. Tend to the business of the day. So, yeah, that's what this all is. I like to think I'm a musician. I make a lot of music. You can find it at nickybhannas.com, nickybhannas.bandcamp.com, nickybhannas on all streaming services. Something of a writer, at least a beginning writer. You can find that at nickybhannas.substack.com. Although I'm not as productive in that one yet, still working out the kinks. This whole thing is still new to me. Newish within the past year. It's when I've kind of systemized a creative output, a series of creative outputs, let's call it. And the writing is just still working out the kinks of how to do it so that I could do it and I would do it. But I digress. nickybhannas.substack.com. And then, yeah, you want to hear me talk? Run my mouthpiece. Got it right here. BS with Hannas. Good morning, Hannas. That's me. And then, yeah, it's on YouTube, on this channel, Spotify podcast, Apple podcast. I think this is like episode 58. So we're getting up there, just pushing along, man, chugging along, hammering it out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm also going to start this new series of things where what I like to do. Like I said, I like to play music. I like to write music and create music. Doing it in the studio sense is one facet to that. You know, getting in the studio and writing songs and recording them, tracking them, mixing them, mastering them, getting them out, so on and so forth. That's a time-consuming endeavor. I'm very fortunate to have a great crew of people that I can work with to make my music my way, more or less at my speed, but it's not as consistent as I would like it to be. It's the nature of working in groups sometimes. All good. Same deal with playing live. I don't play live that often. I've played live a lot in my life, but not as much as some, you know. I'm barely a gigging musician, which is cool because I do it for the love of it. I don't do it for pay, for there is no pay to be had in playing original rock and roll, even though I call my shit heavy blues metal. But I don't really play live that often because, again, you know, it's a lot of moving pieces. It's just kind of difficult to live that the way my life is currently set up. But what I do like doing is hanging out at home and going on YouTube, this beautiful creation that is YouTube, and finding backing tracks and just ripping on them. So I'm going to start. There's another channel on here I got. Just this is BS with Hannas. This is my talk channel. Just straight up Nicky B. Hannas. It's where I got some live footage from the Nicky B. Hannas band playing live, the official music videos that we made. And I'm just going to start. There's a little new playlist on there, riffing. I forget what I called it. Riffing and jamming and riffing. But I'm going to start doing that, recording them a little more often and start building up, you know, just a nice little collage. Like last night I was chilling. I got this big, beautiful guitar amp. It's a Marshall JCM 2000. This shit is a beast. I bought it back in 2011, and it's been my main number ever since. We were jamming, preparing, rehearsing for the last gig we played in August, and we're just playing along, and then it just shits out on me. And I'm like a caveman when it comes to guitar technology. There's people that know better and can fix those things and remedy issues. So I like to go to them. I'll give them good money to fix my stuff up. And I just got my Marshall fixed up. Yeah, she's sounding good, dog. She's sounding fucking great, which is excellent because I got a gig tomorrow with this like local backyard barbecue party. They call it Rock and Romp. It's a bunch of like stoner metal bands, which is like totally my scene. I love that kind of music. And it's on this big sweet property. It's like $50 to get in, but they give you all the beer you want if you're into that. I'm not a drinker anymore, so I'm not so into that. They got this big badass barbecue station that they make all day. They got their own posse in there cooking all types of food. And it's like under a power line, like it's set in the woods. So all types of cats come out with their ATVs and dirt bikes and four wheelers and shit, and just it's just rock and roll backyard barbecue with just motorheads type shit going on all day. It's super super cool. And these guys have been trying to get my band in there for the past couple years. So I am honored to kick that motherfucker off tomorrow. So in rehearsing, getting all my shit all set up and running again, getting comfortable, warming up, I figured let's start filming some YouTube videos. Constant output. That's all I'm trying to do, man. I figure if I want something to happen, if I would, this is the dream, right? The dream is to take my creative endeavors and all these things that I do and just do them until success comes to me, whatever that looks like, you know? In one sense, a lot of people get on YouTube and start doing this just to escape the grind, work for yourself. And that would be fucking great. If I could somehow make a living running my yap and doing it with integrity, not just being like a grifting, like goofball, trend of the day, sensationalist, indulging in all those negative things that come with this negative thing. I'm kind of torn on that. The idea of communication is a beautiful one. And it makes sense that some of the most well-paid people in the world are the best communicators of the world. The people that can take what's floating in the abstract, floating in the ideal sense of the world, using their mouth and their brain and their skills to get it to other people. That implies value. When you give value to a high level, so the story goes, you can therefore receive value via money at a high level. That's a beautiful thing, but the miasma, the mind fuck of it, is in the act of doing it. And for me right now to think that I'm this big dog or something, it's all good. I would like this to just supplement the way I live because I don't hate working. I don't hate my job at the burger shop. I don't hate my boss. I don't hate the people I work with. I'm just in that grind, and I've been in that grind for a long time. So what happens is it wears on you. It beats you down. And when you're beat down and your faculties are lowered, that's when it can become degrading on the spirit, so to speak. And that's where the real fucking fight begins. Like I said, I've been reading that book, Anti-Fragile. That's where the real test of fragility or robustness or anti-fragility comes into play. And I've been doing what I'm doing for a long time, and I would like to elevate above. I would like to elevate above using what I believe is my God-given talents, which is typically music and speaking, talking at least, maybe not being a proper speaker. But, much of my experience in my life has reinforced this. So that's what I'm thinking about, really. And I figured if any of that's going to happen, it would be nice to get to a point where I could just do this. At best, I can make millions, right? I doubt it, but that's okay. It's okay to doubt it right now. At worst, I keep doing what I'm doing and I just do this shit on the side. Now let's consider what are those things that I'm doing on the side? All right, well, I got a nice little schedule and I'm going to centralize all my content, quote unquote. I'm a content creator now, motherfucker. That's what it is. Burger Shop Maestro, content creator. What kind of content do I create? I make music, I talk some shit, and I write. There you go. Patreon.com/Nicky B. Hannas for all that stuff. And as I keep doing it, it's only going to get better. As I keep doing it and I get better at it, there's only going to be more of it. So in the worst case situation, I got a pretty nice, fulfilling life in that regard, if I can construct it and just execute, you know? And I can look at what's going on outside and what's going on in the world, and it's a fucking ugly place. And being that I'm in the suburbs in the great state of Pennsylvania, don't seem that ugly, really. I don't really see a lot of the real horror, the real ugliness, the real grittiness. For how long, that remains to be seen. Because it's getting crazy out there, dog. It's getting crazy out there. And there's a lot of unhinged people everywhere you look. Nothing is new under the sun. Just because I'm not in the ghetto or the barrio or motherfucking trailer park, what have you, that don't mean there ain't, like, for example, methamphetamines and crack cocaine and unhinged alcoholism, all these things that plague people. And if we got a bunch of plagued people in the society, that begets a plagued society. I don't really see too much of that. And the wise masters say to, don't even put your attention there, because if your attention's there, you'll find it. I know. It wasn't even until I started casually doing a little bit of cocaine that I realized, holy shit, there's cocaine everywhere. It wasn't until I started smoking weed that I'm like, damn, everybody's toking up out here. Everybody's blazing fucking loud. It wasn't until I was really one of those dudes at the bar every day that I'm like, man, lots of cats are at the bar every day. This is interesting. But once you start doing it and it's normal, now you're in that. No shit, you know? So how do you flip that? I'd rather be hardworking and then naturally find myself among the hard workers. I'd rather be diligent, naturally find myself among the diligent. I would rather be aiming towards success and naturally orienting myself rather to be among those who are also orienting themselves towards success. So, to me, it just starts with, like the other wise masters say, do what you do. I like to make music. I like to write. I like to talk. And I spent a lot of time in my life thinking about doing all those things instead of just doing them, which makes me think of the recently found concept that I got. I personally heard this concept from the High Thumos Brotherhood. Shout out to Elijah Long. Retard maxing, baby, which is that contrast. Because there's a contrast between that, which is just doing the thing. Don't think too much. Just do it. Enjoy it. What? It's good for you. It'll make you stronger. Lift it. You should do it. Just go do it. Don't think too much. Don't get caught in your head. Don't, weigh pros and cons, positives and negatives, and enter it into a spreadsheet and assess the possibilities and probabilities and risk analyses. Nah, 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 nah. Just do it. And I love that. That's on one end of it. But on the other end of it is the great James Allen. As a man thinketh. The great Napoleon Hill. Think and grow rich. So I think it's important to think. I found a section in my daily readings today. Let me pull this out because this is pertinent to this idea. What do I got here? This is an excerpt from my dude, Martin Meadows, 365 Days with Self-Discipline. So I like that. I got 3 or 4, about 5 books that are just daily readers, just a little section every day, a page, a paragraph, a little blurb. I read that on top of whatever else I'm reading, which is also usually 1 or 2 books at a time. But this is good stuff in the morning, man. Like I said, I like to wake up. If I can wake up and take a nice walk and then just read for about 15, 20 minutes, just get some good stuff in my mental brain, my mental programming of the morning. It's better than watching the news. Shit, I was scrolling Twitter the other night, making content out of looking at Twitter, and that makes you dumb. I like to think this shit makes you smart. And then we get my ideas out there. I've been growing since I've been talking. If I can do that more times than I don't do that, that's a win. Wins over a long time create bigger wins, so on and so forth. You get it. Anyway, this is today. This is well, I guess technically I flipped the page ahead. So this is tomorrow's reading, but that's okay. We're going to read tomorrow's reading today. Day 270 of the year on self-reflection. This is from Elaine de Botton. I don't know if that requires an accent or not. Elaine de Botton, who says that Socrates compared living without thinking systematically to practicing an activity like pottery or shoemaking without following or even knowing of technical procedures. One would never imagine that a good pot or shoe would result from intuition alone. Why then assume that the more complex task of directing one's life could be undertaken without any sustained reflection on premises or goals? So you don't want to think too much. This is what it means to me. We want to just retard max this shit. Get in there and just do it. Just do it. If you're just doing it, you don't got time to be triggered. If you're just doing the thing, you don't got time to think about it. If you don't got time to think about it, you don't got time to find and poke holes in it, find all the negative elements to it. Just get in there and do it. But when you're not doing the thing, if we're going to be thinking, because I think we should think, as a man thinketh, so he is, think things into existence, manifest them. Time and intentional thought will create these new realities. That's what I'm learning from all this, like, metaphysics and new age thinking. I love that shit. There's something to it. And I know that because when I started making it a habit out of walking in the morning, before this podcast, but before I would go on a nice walk before I hit the gym, and I would just listen to the birds and the river and whatever else, and I would like write fucking songs in my head. I would just think, oh, that would be a cool riff. Cool. I can't wait to bring that to the studio. And then when I bring it to the studio and my drummer locks in with me, and I'm like, yeah, this is the riff. It goes from this part to this part to this part. He's like, yeah, cool, cool, sounds good. All right, cool, right on. When can we start? Because I already got the lyrics written. It's gonna fit in here. Here's the hook. Here's the chorus. I want to double track this part. Da da da. So like, just by walking and thinking, that lend itself to action. And now the trick there is when I get to the studio, it's a matter of not being so. Well, I don't know. Does it sound good? Is this a cool riff? Does this work? Is that a good lick? Nah, just fucking get in there and send it. In doing, it ought to be simple. As long as we're thinking, I think we should do what we can. This is me talking to me here, you know. In the realm of thinking, it's just got to be good, productive, accurate, useful, hopeful, forward-oriented thinking. Because then I'll tell you what, I remember that this song in particular, my song "I Ain't Stopping," it just came to me one day like a download when I'm just taking a walk through the woods. And I listen back to it. It's one of my favorite ones of any of the ones I ever wrote. You can find it at nickybhannas.com or nickybhannas.bandcamp.com or any and all streaming services, Nicky B. Hannas. But like that song, I wrote it on like one 30-minute walk. And then it exists. It only exists in my brain, maybe, but it exists. It's real to me. Now the task is to make it real to the world. Once I have it in my head, it's just a matter of doing. It's just a matter of time plus action. And in those things, it's very simple. So maybe that's the lessons I've learned in the past 2.5 years or whatever, 2.25 years since I got sober. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing when it works, I'm finding it to work more often than not as I just go about doing what I naturally do. But I shouldn't even say doing what I naturally do, because naturally, left to my own devices, I will sit. Well, left to my own devices pre sobriety, I would sit and ruminate and ponder and drink, load up that pipe and take a hit, just wonder at it all. And wonder can go one of two ways, You can propel yourself towards beauty or towards horror. Maybe not even horror, but what's that old saying? If you ain't living, you're dying. I used to hear things like that and be like, what a stupid cliche. Be the change you want to see in the world. That sounds like some hippie bullshit. Go back to India, Gandhi. Well, that don't seem to be the case. I was wrong and I done wrong, and I can make sense of it nowadays, which is beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I'm thinking about, man. Like I got my little notes here and I wanted to start this with a little Friday news drop. I expect the news will be, attention grabbing today. The news today, I suspect, is going to want to get their hooks in you and keep your fucking attention on them so they can harvest your energy and you can give it to them. And once you start giving them your energy, whoever they are, that force that exists, that principality that exists, it wants our attention on it. It feeds on it. What did Chuck Schuldiner call it? The scavenger of human sorrow? Oh, yes. The spirit crusher? Oh, yes. Very true. But fuck all that. Fuck all that. What do I have in my notes for what's going on out there? That's an old strategy I used to try and do when I would stream. What's going on out there versus what's going on in here. Because we are interested in the outside world. We're people in a society. We can't just ignore it. We have to interface with it. The question is how. What did I write for what's going on out there? Okay, so here it is. This is this is what we're looking at in the world. There was a sniper shooting at an ICE facility with apparently more scribed on bullets. So everybody who's committing domestic terrorism nowadays is making sure to write cryptic meme level messages on their bullets. That checks out. Nothing shady to see here. The government's going to shut down. So everyone's up in arms about that. Me personally, I don't care. Good. Shut them down. It's a fucking mess. I don't need to really substantiate how it's a mess. It's just a fucking mess. We have the generals gathered in their masses. Casual. Mr. who was it, Pete Hegseth, called in all the troops for some kind of, not the troops, but the generals and leaders and the bureaucracy of the American military for some type of high importance meeting yesterday. So that's good. Ozzy, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. But what did he say? Generals gathered in their masses, witches gathered at black masses. So that's what's fun. And then you go on Instagram later and see a video of Pete Hegseth at the Vikings game acting like a fool. It's like one of those cats you would see at the Eagles games with their fucking faces painted green and white. Go Birds! Like, bro, you're 46 and wasted. You're a fat piece of shit. Your children are embarrassed. Everyone sitting near you is embarrassed unless they're part of this circus too. But, again, I shouldn't hate on that too much because they just love the sports. They just love the game, and that's cool. That's cool. But there's something to be said when you're the recently renamed Department of War. You're in charge of the Department of War of the United States of America. And I guess I get blowing off steam at a game or whatever, but motherfucker, this is from where I'm standing as a citizen, you ought to take it a little more seriously, brother. But I digress. I don't know the man, never met the man, ought not speak ill of the man. And then we've got 250 plus of our allegedly elected officials overseas for the 50 states and one greatest ally convention of sorts. So it's all fucked up out there. It's all fucking crazy. And all I'm thinking about is the fact that my local music and arts center is moving. It's been in the same place where I bought my first guitars, where I took lessons for the first time, where I'd go to buy my picks and my strings and my straps and my pedals. And they're moving because they just put a new Planet Fitness in the same shopping center. Now, the Music and Arts Center is only moving a couple doors down in the same shopping center, so I'm okay with that. They're busting down the walls of the guitar shop to put some more weights in there. I think I'm all right with that, but it is interesting. It is interesting. So, despite all the fucked up things, I'm trying to just stay productive out here on a fine Friday morning. 22 and a half minutes. It's time to wrap it up. And, the way I'm looking at it, it's doubling down on righteousness season out here, man. The air is shifting, the weather's shifting, the seasons are changing, things are heating up as they're cooling down, so on and so forth. But doing the right things, doing the good things, trying to think the good things, doubling down on righteousness, because I don't like all this bullshit going on around me. And even if once upon a time I thought the famous quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world," I thought that was dumb as shit, but it is very true. So just staying after it. Here's a good quote from my man, John Maxwell, on integrity, because we ought to operate with integrity. We should do things with integrity. We should think with integrity. He says that integrity is not the... totally blew that. Let me slip this coffee one time. Mr. Maxwell says that integrity is not only the referee between conflicting desires, it is the pivotal point between a happy person and a divided spirit. Yeah, that's what's up. That's a good one. Integrity is the pivotal point between a happy person and a divided spirit. It frees us to be whole persons, no matter what comes our way. Yeah, buddy. So that's what I got. Happy Friday. My man EMP with the popcorn in the calendar. Appreciate you, dog. Thanks for hanging out. This has been a fine Friday edition of BS with B. Hannas. That's me, Nicky B. Hannas. I make music. You can find it at nickybhannas.com, nickybhannas.bandcamp.com, Nicky B. Hannas on all streaming services. I write a little bit. You can find it on Fries. Yeah, fries in the bag today, baby. But Friday. I get it. Thank you for that one, sir. Like I said, you can find my music, nickybhannas.com, nickybhannas.bandcamp.com. You can find my writing, nickybhannas.substack.com. You can find my music YouTube channel at Nicky B. Hannas here on YouTube. You can find my talk channel, this one, BS with B. Hannas, also on Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, so on and so forth. If you want to see everything that I do, fucking A. Support the mission. Patreon.com/Nicky B. Hannas. Let me get this outro music. This is Crawling Out of Hell, which we're all doing. What did Shakespeare say? My man Billy Shakespeare. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. Crawling on out. Keep it real. One motherfucking love. Peace.